secret victory. It was the look, not of having outthought, but of having outsmarted somebody. He answered cautiously, with a safely pleasant smile. Your presence is the best gift you could give me. My presence, Jim? The lines of his face were shock-bound for a moment. He knew what she meant, but he had not expected her to mean it. She smiled openly. We both know whose presence is the most valuable one for you tonight, and the unexpected one. Didn't you really think of giving me credit for it? I'm surprised at you. I thought you had a genius for recognizing potential friends. He would not commit himself. He kept his voice carefully neutral. Have I failed to appreciate your friendship, Lillian? Now, darling, you know what I'm talking about. You didn't expect him to come here. You didn't really think that he is afraid of you, did you? To have the others think he is? That's quite an inestimable advantage, isn't it? I'm surprised, Lillian. Shouldn't you say impressed? Your guests are quite impressed. I can practically hear them thinking all over the room. Most of them are thinking, if he has to seek terms with Jim Taggart, we'd better toe the line. And if you were thinking, if he's afraid, we'll get away with much more. This is as you wanted, of course, and I wouldn't think of spoiling your triumph. But you and I are the only ones who know that you didn't achieve it single-handed. He did not smile. He asked, his face blank, his voice smooth, but with a carefully measured hint of harshness. What's your angle? She laughed. Essentially, the same as yours, Jim. But speaking practically, none at all. It's just a favor I've done you, and I need no favor in return. Don't worry, I'm not lobbying for any special interests. I'm not after squeezing some particular directives out of Mr. Mooch. I'm not even after a diamond tiara from you. Unless, of course, it's a tiara of a non-material order, such as your appreciation. He looked straight at her for the first time. His eyes narrowed. His face relaxed to the same half-smile as hers, suggesting the expression which, for both of them, meant that they felt at home with each other. An expression of contempt. You know that I've always admired you, Lillian, as one of the truly superior women. I'm aware of it. There's the faintest coating of mockery spread like shellac over the smooth notes of her voice. He was studying her insolently. You must forgive me if I think that some curiosity is permissible between friends, he said with no tone of apology. I'm wondering from what angle you contemplate the possibility of certain financial burdens, or losses, which affect your own personal interests. She shrugged. From the angle of a horsewoman, darling. If you had the most powerful horse in the world, you would keep it bridled down to the gait required to carry you in comfort, even though this meant the sacrifice of its full capacity, even though its top speed would never be seen, and its great power would be wasted. You would do it, because if you let the horse go full blast, it would throw you off in no time. However, financial aspects are not my chief concern, nor yours, Jim. I did underestimate you, he said slowly. Oh well, that's an error I'm willing to help you correct. I know the sort of problem he presents to you. I know why you're afraid of it, as you have good reason to be. But, well, you're in business and in politics, so I'll try to say it in your language. A businessman says that he can deliver the goods, and a ward healer says that he can deliver the vote, is that right? Well, what I wanted you to know is that I can deliver him, anytime I choose. You may act accordingly. In the code of his friends, to reveal any part of oneself was to give a weapon to an enemy. But he signed her confession and matched it when he said, I wish I were as smart about my sister. She looked at him without astonishment. She did not find the words irrelevant. Yes, there's a tough one, she said. No vulnerable point, no weaknesses, none. No love affairs? God, no. She shrugged in sign of changing the subject. Dagny Taggart was a person on whom she did not care to dwell. I think I'll let you run along so that you can chat a little with Balthewbank, she said. He looks worried because you haven't looked at him all evening, and he's wondering whether literature will be left without a friend at court. Lillian, you're wonderful, he said quite spontaneously. She laughed. That, my dear, is the non-material tiara I wanted. The remnant of a smile stayed on her face as she moved through the crowd, a fluid smile that ran softly into the look of tension and boredom worn by all the faces around her. She moved at random, enjoying the sense of being seen, her eggshell satin gown shimmering like heavy cream with the motion of her tall figure. It was the green-blue spark that caught her attention. It flashed an instant under the lights on the wrist of a thin, naked arm. And then she saw the slender body, the gray dress, the fragile, naked shoulders. She stopped. She looked at the bracelet, frowned. Dagny turned at her approach. Among the many things that Lillian resented, the impersonal politeness of Dagny's face was the one she resented most. What do you think of your brother's marriage, Miss Taggart? She asked casually, smiling. I have no opinion about it. Do you mean to say that you don't find it worthy of any thought? If you wish to be exact, yes, that's what I mean. Oh, but don't you see any human significance in it? No. Don't you think that a person such as your brother's bride does deserve some interest? Why, no. I envy you, Miss Haggard. I envy your Olympian detachment. It is, I think, the secret of why lesser mortals can never hope to equal your success in the field of business. They allow their attention to be divided, at least to the extent of acknowledging achievements in other fields. What achievements are we talking about? Don't you grant any recognition at all to the women who attain unusual heights of conquest, not in the industrial, but in the human realm? I don't think that there is such a word as conquest in the human realm. Oh, but consider, for instance, how hard other women would have had to work, if work were the only means available to them, to achieve what this girl has achieved through the person of your brother. I don't think she knows the exact nature of what she has achieved. Reardon saw them together. He approached. He felt that he had to hear it no matter what the consequences. He stopped silently beside her. He did not know whether Lillian was aware of his presence. He knew that Dagny was. "Do show a little generosity toward her, Miss Dagny," said Lillian. "At least the generosity of attention. You must not despise the women who do not possess your brilliant talent, but who exercise their own particular endowments. Nature always balances her gifts and offers compensations. Don't you think so?" "I'm not sure I understand you." "Oh, I'm sure you don't want to hear me become more explicit."